dance for you, but...
No, thank you.
Oh, come on. You never saw my song and dance. You see if I put it in here? So, do you remember this one? Say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You want us to wake up?
Yes, I do. Okay, I'll pass it around because, you know, it is made with Aurifil thread. So it's blanket stitch. That quilt is like about the third or fourth time I've done this with McCall's magazine, is that they worked with organic blocks were different. They weren't the same. And then the border had the little bird. Okay, so I'm working with them to do some things this year I'm going to tell you about, and in the presentation I'm also using the thread, and I have two different thread kits. So let's take a look at the kits. These debuted at Fall Market, so if you were at Fall Market you may have seen the kits in their booth or through your distributors, and we have boxes, thread boxes. Let me just pass this around. Give a business card. We're giving away one of my boxes. Do the honors. So I have a thread box of, I'm calling them a starter box. So these are my sort of starter colors that I feel get people going with a lot of the things that I do. You know, if someone does like all neon green and bright orange, you know, my box might not be the one. But I do have two boxes. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to show you, am I on the right box? Yes. I'm on the, no I'm not, sorry. I'm on the 50 weight box. So the 50 weight are the orange spools. So this is what the box looks like. Now if I pass it around, you promise it comes to the back to the front? This is dangerous, isn't it? Now these colors for 50, the 50 weight is their finest weight thread. They have 4 weights of thread, 50, 40, 28, and 12. And I use 50 for a lot of things. I'll use it to free motion quilt, you know, machine quilt. I will use it to piece. I will use it to blanket stitch by machine because it's a very fine line if I'm matching the colors of my thread to my applique. It pretty much disappears. I will also use it to hand applique. Yeah, that's the other thing I do. Hand applique. I haven't done that for a while. Gosh. So it's very nice for hand applique. Same thing, match the color of the thread to the applique shape, and it's going to blend right in. And then my starter kit for the 50. I do have a few unusual colors, and one of them is this sort of peach color. Looks a lot like this. And I'm going to pass the 50 spool down this side. And a lot of the colors you're going to find, if you're not used to using something a little more unusual, the peach, when you lay it out, it goes over pinks, it goes over light oranges, it goes over deeper pinks. It's an amazing thread, and a lot of the thread colors are like that. I think people get stuck on just looking at that solid, dense color on the spool and not sort of taking one strand and laying it out. It's a really powerful demo if you've never done that in your shop or that you teach for your students. Take some thread colors and just lay them out. We do that a lot for hand applique because people are trying to blend the fabrics. And so I'm really familiar with hand appliqueurs doing that sort of auditioning of a thread color. But you can do the same thing for your machine quilting or anything else. It's really interesting to see how people react when you lay that thread out. One of the projects I'm doing for Aurifil this year is blog posts for their blog. And also I'll show you in a little bit, I'm doing a block of the month for them, a free block of the month called Meadow Breeze. So I'm doing a lot of things like this. These pictures came from one of the blog posts I did to help educate our quilters on thread and how I use thread and how they could use thread. You can all talk. You have questions? You're so quiet. You know me, I just like yak. But if you know, I'll just keep talking the whole time. So what do I have next? Okay, the 40 weight. Now what is interesting, when I first started working with Aurifil, they were explaining to me that in a lot of the European markets, 40 is their go-to weight. You know, they will use this for their piecing and for their machine quilting and that kind of thing. So I wanted to, you know, learn about it and experiment with it and see what was going on with this weight thread. It's on the green spool. Now which side did I put that box on? weight is, if you're going to piece with it and your piecers are like, you know, all set up for 50 weights or thinner weights, they need to do a test because it is a little bit thicker thread. They may have to adjust their needle position or do something. It's great for machine quilting. It gives a little heavier definition. It's great for blanket stitching. If you want a little heavier definition, you want the thread to be a little bit more of a feature. It's not like a major feature if you're doing the really heavy threads, but it's a little bit different. I wouldn't hand applique. It's just a little too thick for that. It's just a little too much to blend in for me. Leave it down there. When I hold this up, it'll look like there's nothing there, but I promise you I wrote stuff on here. So that's why I have to pass it around. But I've got the different weights of threads and samples of what I did with it. Once I put the wool, I use the wool thread here, and they're 12 weight and, you know, everything. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on this little sampler, and I will leave it in the booth. All right, yes? These are colors. So the boxes stay those colors. So if you buy my box, what you're going to get, that's what you're going to get. Am I answering your question? Well, I find it interesting looking for one that we like sort of as a comedian in your collection. So right, and there is no formula. Everybody finds something that they like. You know, like one shop or one person might have a different color that works for them for maybe your fabric selections that doesn't necessarily come up top on my list. Yes? Block, a 9-part block a month for Aurifil. It's a free download, and I'm featuring their 40 weight thread in what I'm doing. So I'm only using my kit and the spools and the 40 weight, and I brought some of the blocks, and I'll pass them around because you know the quilt's not together yet. So here's the center and one of the rounds. So pass that one that way. And then I have the butterfly. And then these were some of the side pieces. The pattern shows you a diagram. The last one, these were the last ones. So it shows you a diagram of where they are, but, you know, it's a mystery. Yeah. Exactly. You didn't hear her, did you? Here. Just pass those along. So I'm, it is on a blog post, and then on my website. You know, they're not all, you know, having started right in the beginning. Now, here are a couple of quilts that other people have done and posted on Flickr, applique, and then do thread work. Oh, you know what thread work is, right? Yeah, she does that all over top.
She's from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And she's going to have an exhibit in the Smithsonian.
You know, it is a free download, and it is being sponsored by Aurifil. So if you want to bring, you know, print it and maybe do some sort of little workshop, you know, using the pattern. Of course, it's not complete, but you could take that heart center panel and just do something. You could do demos. You could just have a party because, you know, one of your customers might win that box of thread if you do something to help sort of promote. Well, you do a little Meadow Breeze party or, you know, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to be an ongoing thing even, or you could just do, you know, remind them in your newsletter